Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. We got ourselves some very interesting things to get into today, and we're, of course, very happy to have you guys with us. And for some reason, I'm not seeing anything up here. Let me drop down over. There we go. I got it fixed. But great to see all you guys in here. We got Joshua Hughes, who is first for the first time in a very long time. But of course, Joshua has turned out to be an really good help and a good moderator. We do appreciate you, dude. Lady Celtic Moon is in here, and Lady Celtic Moon, you are certainly not the only female that watches us. We actually had one we pulled up out of the chat yesterday and came in here and
We
talked
have
to
more
us.
fans?
We had Star
Whoa,
Storyteller, and it was a good conversation too. Yeah, because
wow.
she was cushy. She felt it was cushy, so she was comfortable. Because I'm cushy. Didn't you know that?
You're you're a cushy man.
I'm a cushy man.
That's what people mean when they call me cushy.
I don't think it's the same. Yeah. I think
What
that's
is a
Made on a
cushy
daddy.
man?
a cushy man. Well,
Uh,
for Booster, it's a
oh,
it's a plushy, soft and squishy and undefined
oh,
man. In my
I'm just very
point of view,
huggable.
it's where women feel comfortable around my presence. You see, Doctor Wright.
Oh,
That's what
that's how
cushy
you
means.
lure them in.
That's true. That's true. It's my techniques. But we got Eric Hawkins in here as well. We got Ara. We got Ara in here as well. We really appreciate you guys coming in. Of course, we're always happy to have a bunch of people in here joining us on our live stream. But because this is a live stream, guys, we really appreciate it if you'd hit that share button and let all your family and friends know what's going on so they can come join us. Now, do keep in mind that we, of course, have all these links down below to the things we're doing, particularly to our fan speak, which is growing and it's super active. I mean, it's over 200 members, but it's very active. The people are throwing stuff up every day. It's really cool. So if you're not a part of that, please go be part of that. Also, if you want to contact me for whatever reason, if you want to be on the show or you want to be on the Joint Cord Fan Edition, what have you, just go ahead and use those links down below and connect to it. Also, keep in mind that we do have the mailing list still up there for Dinale's Immortal Mask, which is in production right now. So
Hmm.
if you want to be part of the finding out all the notifications and upcoming things with that Indiegogo project, just go ahead and click that. I see Brian Hawkins is in here. Hello, how you doing? Where's your brother? Anyway, uh, nice to have you guys in here, and of course, hitting the like button and subscribe
Why there's
too.
so many Hawkins?
We appreciate it. Yeah, we've been infested in a good way though.
Ugh.
I think the Hawkins are good, good peoples, good folks. But anyway, I'm going to come over here and say hello to our panel before we jump into things. I will say rest in peace to the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opening in California. It seems to have opened and failed miserably, and rest in peace. Let's take a moment of silence. Okay, that's enough. But yeah, well, get woke, go broke, I guess. But it's really interesting on that story. We're not going to be talking about it today. We didn't really bring it up, but it is interesting to see what's happening because I think it's going to be a little bit telling for what happens with this episode 9. Because is anybody interested? I'm not.
You
But
know, I still haven't even
nevertheless,
seen The Force Awakens.
yeah, it's not great. It's a
I just,
watchable movie though. It's
I
like
just
a
didn't care.
it's like a popcorn movie. If you
Uh,
think for a second, you're not gonna be happy because it's so
mhm.
full of damn plot holes. But
Good thing I don't like thinking.
yeah, well there you go. Well, the thing about the
Yeah.
Force Awakens though, at least you can watch it. The Last Jedi is unwatchable, dude. I mean, it's unbelievable how angry
Mhm.
that movie made me. It's just a movie, for goodness sake, but it made me mad. But anyway,
Is
we're
it
not
just,
talking
is it
about that.
just a movie?
Well, I guess I guess obviously it's not. It must be more to me, but I don't want to get into that. Let me come over and talk to our panel here. And I see Dr. Wright is with us. Welcome, sir.
The Last Jedi is a complete disrespect and disregard to any writing craft whatsoever.
Well, another point as well. And I think that's the problem with the Last Jedi. There's so many things you can complain about with it. That's not good, right? But anyway, very nice to have you here, Dr. Wright. Of course, we love having you. But we also got ourselves a George Gatz's. George,
Greetings,
huh,
greetings.
that's pretty good,
The
George.
Last
I only had to do
Jedi.
it two times.
The Last Jedi is a terrible movie.
Yeah, it is really bad. Yeah, it is really bad. I was actually yelling at the screen in a Japanese movie theater. I don't know if you understand what that means, but my wife was quite put off by
Were you
me.
yelling in Japanese or English?
Uh, Probably multiple languages, I would imagine.
Every language you know, even some
Yeah,
you don't.
yeah,
I
right.
went with a girl that we had just started dating,
Uh,
and she liked Star Wars. She wanted to leave before I did.
yeah, my wife was pissed, dude. I mean, it's odd because I mean, I grew up with Star Wars. I love Star Wars in every way. I know a lot more about Star Wars, and my understanding is deeper than my wife. But I think she's a bigger fan than I am, and she was really upset. She's done. She is absolutely done, dude. And my wife is a super nice, compassionate type lady. She's the one that if someone falls down, she's the one that runs and gets the water or the towel or something like that, where everyone stands around and says, "Are you okay?" She's like in action. She's that type, right? And she's done. You screwed up real bad, Disney. If you made that type of one woman done with you, oh my God, not good. Anyway, we also, of course, have the booster, the oily kiwi from New Zealand, who we love with all our heart.
All of it.
Hmm.
Not 110% of it. That's not enough. I need more love.
You do. Well, that was ultra
And more
hetero
subscribers that
statement
boost
too.
the Kiwi on the YouTube.
I still can't believe you have 100 subs with not a stitch of content, dude. That is awesome.
112 subs.
112. Oh goodness. Now Eric
And
is
I
in here
earned
as well,
all of them.
and with his brother here, Brian. And Eric Hawkins says, "Let's talk about racist Toy Story 4." I actually have that story prepared, so we will be talking about that. We got a lot of stories, so we kind of got to get to it. But of course, I don't want to leave out our co-host and the co-host with the most awesomeness is that is Dinale.
Thank you, Chester. Hey guys, how's everybody doing? I'm doing fantastic. Actually, I'm starting to enjoy The Last Jedi because it's actually making me more productive and no longer spending my money on things that I don't need anymore. It made me grow up.
Do you think?
So thank you.
Well, there you go. That's a fair point. But here's a question to the panel, actually, to the chat as well. Do you
Mhm.
think that in the long run, the Last Jedi might turn out to be something like The Room? I mean, it's horrible, horrible, horrible movie, but people enjoy mocking it and watching it in jest. Do you think the Jedi movie? But The Room has a certain air of fun about it, where the Last Jedi was just felt so hateful.
Yeah,
The Jedi's a
exactly.
lesson. Last Jedi's a
Last Jedi's just
lesson.
miserable.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
it's like
that's
when I
true.
compare Batman and Robin to Batman vs Superman, right? Batman and Robin, at least it's quotable. I can have fun making fun of how silly it is and goofy it is, right? But
Oh,
Batman vs
nipples.
Superman makes me feel ill and miserable.
Wow. Yeah. Well, Lou Illustrations, which is nice to see you, Lou, dude. You need to come back over to the Drone Recorder. We'd love to have you come on and draw again, dude. But
Mhm.
Lou here says, I have no interest in Star Wars Episode 9. I don't think any of us do. I am
It's
interested
like,
in Jumanji 3, though. Well, dude, you're in luck because we're going to be watching that trailer. Matter of fact, why don't we do that first? We've never done that before. Let's just watch
Yeah.
a
but I just
trailer
wanted to
right
tell
off.
Lou that our very next Drawn and Quartered is Skunk Girl, and I'd love to see his interpretation of Skunk Girl.
Actually, so would I. But I'm pretty sure that that is filled up like with like 5 people in line waiting already, dude. But we
Oh,
definitely want Lou back though. We would love to have you come over and draw for us again, dude. But that's the cool thing about Fan Edition. If you guys haven't come checked it out, haven't checked it out, I think most of you have. But if you haven't seen any of the Jordan Quarters, dude, that is just killer level art that's going on. And I do apologize to the entire planet for the winner from this week, who was John Dillard, who did an absolutely ridiculous, extremely sexualized version of poor Iron Sky's characters. You know, I felt bad for him.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was good though, which is typical. John
It'd be
Dillard's a
funny if he
killer
pulls
artist.
that on It'd be so funny if he pulls that on Mike Miller's show. Not that I'm endorsing that behavior,
Well,
but it'd be
actually,
really
Mhm.
funny.
of course, in the back end, I talk with Edwin because I give him the links, the winners, and all that kind of stuff like that. I would chat with him just a little bit, and he actually thought it was funny. So he has no problem with it. But we know Mike is an entirely different animal. But anyway, let me jump over here now. I was going to start with this one, but you know what? Let me share with you guys before I do that. I always do that. This new format I got set up is I got to remember.
A little
Uh,
bit wonky. Thank you, YouTube.
Yeah, well, no, thank you, and we actually had another thank you YouTube moment today, actually, guys. And let me jump over here real quick. I was gonna do this first, but damn it, I'm watching a trailer. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, but we did have a wonky thing here today. Looking at what you see right here, we have the this new trailer for Jumanji. Now, I haven't seen the remake, the reboot. People seem to like it though, but I haven't checked it out yet. But I went over because I don't know if you guys remember, but I don't know, like a month ago, I was using the Google. And these guys said, "What are you using Google for?" Because I was trying to search for something. I can't remember what it was, but and I couldn't find it. And they said, "What are you using Google for? Use this DuckDuckGo thing. You'll get an honest result." So I've started using it, and boy, it's true. DuckDuckGo gives you an absolutely honest result. I think that's awesome. So I started using. I use it all the time now. I'd made it my default, and so I went to search for this trailer on my own, and YouTube came up, something new, haven't seen it before, saying, "Well, seeing as you have a privacy setting, which I guess DuckDuckGo doesn't monitor you, I guess that's the issue. But because I can't be monitored and spied upon by Google, they are now openly telling me we're not going to let you watch this video from YouTube. Can you
Hmm.
believe that? Can you believe
Can we
that?
talk about Karen Gillan's midriff for a minute?
I'd have to watch the trailer. It doesn't look particularly special. She's not particularly. She's kind of a scrunched up little Hollywood actress. Looks pretty normal to me.
I love her, Chester. How dare you?
Okay, I mean they're all kind of scrunched up little people with no necks. I mean, Hollywood does enjoy that. Little people for their camera. I get it. It's no problem with it.
Disgusting.
But she's scrunched up, dude. Look at her. That's a
I'll
scrunched
scrunch
human.
you up.
But anyway, let's just watch this trailer. I say we watch the trailer. So here we go. Let me make sure how this isn't super hot. Let me bring it down a little bit. Look, it's the trailer for the trailer. Yay.
Yep.
Can we please stop that? It's so pointless. It's so worthless.
Get you hyped for the trailer.
Did you
That
guys
will
watch
hype
the
you for the movie.
reboot?
It's complicated.
Yeah, I did. It was a fun kind of film, you know.
Cool. Oh, Rock is good.
Compared to the Last Jedi, this was a fun movie. It was enjoyable. You know, it can't hold a candle to the Robin Williams version, but on its own, it was a fun, with the family kind of movie.
Danny DeVito?
I remember
Well,
after
dude.
The Last Jedi watching Bright, which is at best a 4 out of 10,
Wow.
and I thought it looked like, Citizen Kane compared to The Last Jedi.
Wow. Well, you guys, we're missing a couple of things here. You're missing a couple of things. Let me back it up a little bit here. We're kind of overlooking something extremely important. We have the man, Danny DeVito.
Yes.
Love Danny DeVito.
But more importantly,
Nice to meet you.
we have gay rights activist, gay man, and absolutely get woke, Mr. Man, Me Too, any other kind of SJW reference you'd like to throw on Danny frickin'
We
Glover.
gotta go get him.
Are you out of your mind? We haven't even picked our guys yet.
Oh, he's just part. All right.
You hear something?
I do like Danny Glover though, but he is absolutely intolerable though.
I haven't liked him since Lethal Weapon.
Who are you?
Oh my god. You're Spencer's grandfather.
You know who disappeared that I
And
like?
you?
Louis Gossett Jr. He was good.
Did I die and turn into some kind of a small, muscular Boy Scout?
Are we dead?
Kevin Hart
Stephanie?
portraying
Dude, this can't be happening.
Glover as
My hip sure feels good now.
Look at my
bu-
thighs.
bu-
Look at your thighs.
Look at my thighs.
Okay, we have some issues here. The game is busted.
It was a game. I'm not it. I don't want to be it. Welcome to Jumanji.
Hey,
Hey, it's Kiwi.
you.
yeah.
It looks fun, actually.
Even more challenging. And remember, the future of Jumanji is in your hands.
I have one important question. Who is Jumanji?
Is that Barbara's boy?
We gotta die.
We did die.
Are we in hell?
I knew it.
Oh my god.
I do. Gangsta Kevin Hart's doing a pretty good job, dude. He's hit and miss for me, but sometimes he's quite funny.
Got to have eyes
Yeah.
in the back of your
There's
He's
going to be
gonna
a lot of extra acting in this movie.
Extra acting?
Yeah. Well, look at it. Right now, The Rock is going to have to act as if he's Danny DeVito and get his quips and mannerisms.
What the hell
Mm.
is that?
I just noticed earlier.
exceptional work.
I just noticed earlier the Rock kind of went like Danny DeVito.
What's going on? You having a heart attack? Breathe. Breathe. His whole left side is shutting down.
Well, there goes one of his lives.
All right. It made me chuckle. Hey, it made me chuckle. I guess I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I didn't really care much about it. My wife wasn't interested in it either. We, pretty much, Robin Williams kind of killed that, and didn't really. We just weren't. We didn't think about it. But we do like The Rock, though. So I guess we got to go watch it. But you guys are telling me the first one's fun, though, right?
Yeah, it's fun. It's nothing great and nothing amazing, but it's just fun. A Saturday night waster kind of deal.
Joshua makes a fair point, I guess. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But he says, not sure how I feel about them changing the main characters, but it looks pretty good. Well, I would say from a distance, for me, seeing as those characters are simply the characters you can play in the game, and giving the actors the opportunity to play different personalities from the different player, I think that's kind of clever, actually. But I didn't, like I said, I don't know. I didn't see the first movie. What do you guys think about that comment?
It's still the Rock. They're the main characters. Everybody
Well,
else is still.
Story-wise, they already had their arc. So why are you put the same characters that have the same arc? You know what I mean?
That's true.
You have
Right.
a different
That's
arc
fair.
now. So
Well,
you kind of have to.
yeah, no, and I think it's kind of clever anyway. And besides, I like The Rock. Tenacious D is immortal, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know who the other people are. Kevin Hart, I know a little bit. I don't know the girl. What's her name? The scrunched
Karen
up
Gillan.
one.
Gillen?
Yeah, she's Nebula.
Oh, is she?
Mhm.
No, she's
Yeah.
scrunched up. So,
Oh,
so Booster likes
scrunchy.
little scrunched up women like himself. I get it.
Isn't she like 5'10"?
Obviously not, dude. She's real scrunchy there. But that's normal. Hollywood, I think off the top of my head, I know a little bit of
She's
why they like
5'11".
little people. Yeah,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
that's what I thought.
And
She was
and
so
and,
tall.
and I'm 7'4". Yeah, okay. But let's come back over here and look at
I
another
do.
story. I think it's cool though. Do apologize us talking over it, but this is a live show. But if you're interested, you should go watch it yourself. I think. But it looks fun. The first we even had a little nod to Robin Williams. Sweet. Everything should have a nod to Robin Williams. Did anyone? Did anyone deign to go watch Aladdin? I heard it's an absolute train wreck, but anybody
I
see
didn't even
that?
bother. I did not care. And I'm
No.
sad that it made a lot of money.
Well, it's actually
Now
being
they're-
touted as a very bad movie. It sounds like the girl, the one I was saying looks like a maid and not a princess. It was the only really good thing about the movie.
Aladdin just became the highest grossing movie of Will Smith's career.
Wow. And that's just not right, dude. But oh well. The reason I said it is because I wonder if they gave a nod to Robin Williams in that as well.
If people are ever wondering why Disney won't stop remaking all their classic movies into live action adaptations, that's why.
Because people keep going.
Yeah, they
Stop
already announced.
watching them.
They already announced that the
Oh my
next
God.
movies
Like,
are
They're
doing
like,
the Little
look, we
Mermaid.
have crappy movie 3000. Come see it. And everybody goes, yes,
Yeah,
crappy movie 3000.
Like, come on, man. They're doing a bloody quote unquote live action remake of The Lion King, which is already a damn perfect movie. And what are they doing? It's all CGI animals. It's just a CGI remake of.
It's an animated movie of an animated movie.
What a waste
Well,
of time.
I do have to say, I did watch The Jungle Book. I saw both of them. I saw the Andy Serkis one, which was not very good, but I saw the other one, which I don't know if that Pixar or I don't know who did it. That was a stunning display of where CGI has gotten actually.
Is that the one where Scarlett Johansson was the snake?
Yes, yes.
That was
And
good.
it was
I
good.
thought.
It was a fun movie. It was well written, well
Because
done.
it was actually frightening. Like if you could
was,
immerse yourself into the character, and if you believed you were Mowgli for a second, it was scary.
It was, and but the level of CG in that movie, and they knew it too, because at the end of the movie, in the credits, they were showing like the open book, or the Jungle Book opened up. Of course, there's a lot of stories in that book. Everyone always tells Mowgli's story, even though there's many other stories in it. But I'm not going to get into the history of the Jungle Book, but anyway, they had the book open, and they would turn a page, and they had this beautiful CG just walking around on top of the book. It was really showing off the CG, I think, is what they wanted to do, because they knew what they had hit. I understand that animals are a lot easier to CG than a human face. I get it, but that's probably the highest level of CG I've ever seen in my life. Pretty sure.
Yes, Disney's Jungle Book did have Christopher Walken as King Louis. I want to be like you.
Yes,
Wow.
that's actually not a bad walk in there, dude. I love walking, man. Have you ever
Yeah.
seen
I
those
got a
walking
fever
throughs?
for more cowbell right now.
Have you ever seen those walking through playing video games?
Yeah.
Right. No, that's very interesting. That started out with a dude who does a lot of voice stuff on YouTube. He does Peter from Family Guy. He does a bunch of stuff. But Walken actually thought, and he did more. He did. Oh, Morgan. I can't remember his first name, but the black dude is in every single movie that's ever been made.
Morgan
But
Freeman.
Morgan Freeman, that's it. But they did both of them. Had another guy. But actually, Walken and Morgan thought it was hilarious, and there are actual those walking throughs where it actually is Christopher Walken and Morgan Freeman playing together. It's I'm not kidding you. It's true. They even have video showing the making of it, with those two guys sitting in Walken's house, because I guess they're actually are friends. I didn't know this. And they're sitting in Walken's house, and they're taping it and stuff. And these guys are like looking at the controller like it's some kind of alien device. Right? It's hilarious. Oh, have you guys seen those? That is awesome, dude.
No, but have you seen the Weapon of Choice music video by
No, what's
Fatboy
that?
Slim? It's just a music video with Christopher Walken in it, and he's dressed up as like one of his typical kind of gangster suits, right? And then he just
Yeah.
starts dancing to the music.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
amazing.
I've
He's
seen
he's
that.
a
I've
he's
seen that.
so he's amazing, Christopher Walken.
Oh, Walken is awesome. Yes, he is. I mean, well, anyway, we're not going to talk about Chris Walken here, because that'll take time for damn sure.
Look,
But
we could do a whole episode on
we
Christopher
do.
Walken.
He's too cool. But anyway, the first
Speak-
story I got here today is from Samuli
Yeah.
Olki, who's
Mhm.
one of our Scandinavian viewers, who we love very
Mhm.
much, and he puts up a lot of stuff, and he's very active in the FanSpeak page. But this right here, I didn't even know. So thank you very much for doing that, Sam. DC unveils new fantasy comic book, The Last God. Has anybody heard about this? It's a 12
Yeah, I
I
read
series,
it. I
12
read
issue
about
series.
it.
actually heard of it, but I have no idea what the hell it is.
I well, I hate the description. Like the description right beneath this, because it's like it might as well be like, this is for the fans of the swords and the sorceries.
Well,
The swords. Game of Thrones and Lord
You
of the
know,
Rings. It's just going to be another Western fantasy story.
you
well,
know this right here. It's look at this is going to be the next thing here. It's for the fans of the swords and the sorceries. All that shenanigans. The dwarves, the elves. It's got everything, man. Look at that. We've got an evil being. We've got a person looking for the great weapon.
well,
He's wielding some sort of holy axe.
why have you
Take a
become
look,
Russell
ladies and
Brand all of
gentlemen.
a sudden? What happened to you? Hold on, let me read this. There's a couple of lines here that are actually worth reading. It says a 12 issue series by Philip Kennedy Johnson, Ricardo Federici. Probably didn't pronounce that right, and Dean White. The Last God is described by the publishers as a cross-generational quest to kill the evil tyrant Mol Uthtep. Come on,
Ugh,
guys, that's straight out
that's
of
not good.
Conan. Before he destroys the world of Cain Anun, where the
The
series
world is
is
called
set.
Cain and Noon.
I guess so.
That
Unfortunately,
sounds like a dude's name.
yeah, I could have named that better 50 times over. Unfortunately, the task is not as simple as it might seem initially seem. Set
That
in
means
two.
like
Yeah, let me just
Death
get
of the
through it.
Dark Sun, basically.
Well, Athos was an interesting world, and Athos. Oh, wow, that's a much better name than Cain Anun. Anyway, set in
Wow.
two different generations, it follows a mighty fellowship of heroes that travel beyond the borders of creation. Okay, to kill a god, and the next generation, who learn their predecessors aren't the heroes the world believes them to be. Johnson said in his statement, adding, "Fans of D&D, Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, and Magic: The Gathering, and anyone who enjoys deep dives in fantasy lore, you will extremely well served. You will be extremely well served with The Last God." Okay, but this is the one comment actually that's interesting to me. DC publisher Dan Didio chimed in with his own statement saying that the new series enforces DC's commitment to working with the best storytellers, as well
Then why
as
is
our
Tom
commit
King
to
still there?
finding new and original concepts to publish. Go
Oh
ahead,
my
Doctor Wright.
God,
You have stuff to say, dude. So have at it.
this sounds like a what we call story by committee. Wow.
This
Yeah.
is garbage. It's absolute garbage. This is just, like I said, I mean, they're like, oh my gosh, fantasy's popular. Let's get in on it. They already tried to with the War of the Realms and failed. They tried to bring over Arrow and what is it, Magic Sword or whatever from China, and that's crap. So now they're going to do their own thing, and this is going to be garbage too. You want to tell me that you have a commitment to writers? Get an actual freaking writer in there then. Stop
Yep.
getting somebody like Tom King who doesn't understand the subtlety of irony and instead uses it like a nailed baseball bat to beat people over the head and put Superman's wife in a masturbation spa for a freaking bachelor party. The stupid idiot.
Yeah,
Yep.
don't mince
Well, there
words.
you
What
go.
exactly are you trying to
No,
say?
he has an
Hey,
opinion on
come
this
on, ding,
subject, dude.
ding, ding, ding.
We hit a nerve, baby. But I will read the first couple
He's
issues
right
and
about Tom King.
see. Well, he is right about Dan Didio and
And
all of it. It's true.
who are these writers? Who are these people that they've got over here? I've heard
Scott
of.
Snyder, Tomasi.
No, I'm talking about on this book in particular.
I named them off. We have it's Philip Kennedy Johnson. Never heard of him. Ricardo Federici, and Dean White. Dean White sounds a little familiar to me.
Because it sounds kind of like Dean
Let's see.
Cain. I don't
Philip
know.
Kennedy Johnson wrote Aquaman, Jim Henson's The Power, Low Road West, Last Sons of America, Warlords of Appalachia.
Oh wow. Okay. Oof.
Okay. I'm just kind of disappointed because I figured this would have something to do with the New Gods, but I guess it's
No.
just its
What
own
was the
thing
other one?
entirely.
Hold on, let me see. Ricardo Federici.
God, hello, I'm Ricardo Fajiki. I'm about to take you on an artistic experience.
Well,
Come with me, madam.
we have been asking for new IP. This is a new
Ricardo.
IP. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to hold any
He's just an
reservations
artist.
of opinion until I read it. Now,
Federici's an artist. He's like a Boris Vallejo wannabe.
oh, is he? Well, I kind of like Boris Vallejo if he gets close. But I love the art. The cover art's killer. This is the interesting dichotomy that's going on between Marvel and DC for me. Marvel has just given up. They've chosen their agenda, and they're sticking to it, and they don't care what you think. They don't care, right? DC, on the other hand, is trying to walk the fence line. Right? They're trying to offer the stuff that seemingly the industry thinks people want, at the same time trying to make good stories for the traditional comic book fan. They are trying. I'm not saying they're succeeding, but they are trying at least.
Well, they're trying, but their entire whole woke agenda bullshit, ding ding, murdered Vertigo recently.
Yeah, no, it did, and the real problem is Dan Didio. He's the one that's causing all this to happen. He's the one that's facilitating it. And honestly, the easiest thing DC could do to fix this situation is this: fire Dan Didio and put Jim Lee back in charge. There you go. And that would solve it, because Jim is he is sensitive to people's opinions, but he is also a traditionalist. And
I would say Jeff Johns, because
no,
I think DC was at just about its best with the start of Rebirth. Well, recently anyway. Like, it was so much better than New 52, and the whole Rebirth line screamed of Jeff Johns' idea rather than the Dio. And then we get freaking Heroes in Crisis, and that screams standard year all over again.
It does, yeah. Now, Jeff Johns, you're probably right. I think it's just sticking in my craw because he left comics and went into movie and TV writing, right? And he failed miserably. Talk about
Oh,
bombing, dude.
yeah.
So I got a little bit of a negative feel on Jeff Johns, right? But you're probably right, though. He would be a
I
better
feel he at
choice.
least gets comics, and he gets what
He does, yeah.
Rebirth showed to me what DC should have been for the longest time. What Rebirth should have. But Rebirth to me is what New 52 should have been. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, a lot of people hate on the new 52, and I understand it got worse as it went along, but the initial, first year of New 52, I didn't mind that much, dude. I had a lot of fun reading those books actually, and I actually at that at that moment in time, I dedicated myself. I said, okay, there's a new launch. I'm going to read everything, and I did, dude. I read New 52 for a solid year, and then I stopped because it wasn't great. But there was
Okay,
I had a lot of
so
fun with that, dude.
this guy's got
Okay.
excerpts for the whole thing. He's got like 5 pages of written prose for a comic.
Okay. Well, I mean, it could be
on his,
interesting.
like Philip. It's just to give you like excerpts from the journals of Lord Rom, first commander of the Knights Eldritch. Oh my God, this sounds like a horrible D&D game. In the dim season of the 349th year. Of the 29 crossed men I took into the south, only 2 now return north, and they I fear not for long.
What?
That's
Oh
what it
my
says,
God, I'm
and
falling
they I
asleep
fear not
already.
for long. Gonthuo has little blood left in him, and Maldaw's mind roils with poison.
Oh, Jesus.
2 years have
Christ, dude.
passed since King Agathol John
All right.
bade us
Oh,
find
stop
Lord
it, dude.
I'm
Stop
falling
it.
asleep
Roll
here.
for enough
Well,
of this crap.
let me ask a simple question, Dr. Wright. Are at least the commas in the right place?
No,
Damn it, dude.
there
All right, now
there
here's
are
the
no
thing.
commas.
There are no commas. All right. Okay, hold on a second. Now,
Mister,
Doctor. No, wait,
make them roll for
no,
dexterity before you kick
Booster.
him.
No, I'm speaking now. The rant has begun. Look
Uh-oh.
here, dude. Here, when you're writing something, just because you own a thesaurus does not make you a writer. All of those words he just read off in that short little excerpt, they are very useful words, and you could use them properly, but he did not. I mean, talk about using those, roiling and some of these other words I heard in the
Yeah,
absolute
that's
perfectly wrong
royal
way.
bade.
It's ridiculous, dude. I mean, he literally used everything wrong. How is that possible?
Oh, how's that possible? Because this guy is the winner of a DC writing workshop.
So he must be the right gender or the right whatever. He's got to rewrite something because that's ridiculously bad. I mean, all those words are very useful, especially when used poignantly. But no, read that first line again. The one where he tries to reverse the grammatic speech, which you can do if you do it right, by the way. But go ahead and read that again, please.
Of the 29 crossed men I took into the south, only 2 now return north, and they I fear not for long.
And there's no commas at all, right?
Well, he does put commas in there, but it's like I'm adding some.
I
You know
felt
what?
so.
I
Yeah.
don't
Make it
think
sound better.
I don't think this is
And then he's
a real
gone
person reading.
through.
I don't think
Has
this is a real
little
person.
blood left.
I think
Say
it's a
again?
computer cracking the story. I think they're using an AI because I guess
I mean, he said he wrote it. I don't know what you want me to say.
Doesn't
Like,
that?
unless
Yeah, but
he is a computer.
yeah, but doctor, doesn't that piss you off though, dude? I mean, doesn't it piss you off because
That it's
you
garbage?
know that I know
Yeah.
myself personally, I could write that better. And who am I, right?
Well, not
Doesn't
only
that
could you
piss
write
you
this
off?
better, I mean, this doesn't need to be this long. I mean, this basically says these guys came back. This guy's sick, and this dude was bleeding.
Right. Yeah, I understand flowery language, and that's totally cool, especially when you're doing something that's fantasy based. But I mean, come on, dude, damn it.
It's just like it's obvious pandering to a very specific. What it is it's like it's just like I said, like the swords and the sorceries. It's
Yeah.
deconstruction. They went in, they're like, okay, these are what fantasy writers or fantasy readers like, and they went and they're like, look, we can make this expansive universe or blah 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 blah. but it's devoid of any kind of subtext or life.
or
I
any kind
think
of
it's
skill.
amazing that fantasy implies that it's whatever you can imagine, and we keep falling onto the same tropes over and over again.
Well, it's true because Star
Well,
Wars is a
okay,
fantasy. That's true.
like what would you want to be, like a sucker fish with, like, you know, a long tentacle that with a mouth at the end that would, you know, eat food and one eye to look at naked things? I mean,
Yeah.
But
you know,
yeah, okay. Thank you for the innuendo. But it pisses me off when I see that kind of stuff. But it's kind of like if you've ever seen any of those YouTube videos on the Antifa Fight Club. It's the most
oh gosh.
ridiculously cringy thing you've ever seen in your life. And this sounds really cringy. I'm going to read it anyway, damn it. I'm going to suffer for you guys as I usually do because I read a lot of crap. But man, it's really
This is
too bad.
bad. This is worse than this is worse than Salvatore at his worst bad.
Okay, since this book is
Uh,
clearly very poorly executed, who's going to take a bet? I say it'll last about 3 issues before they cancel it.
yeah. See,
Well, they've already said it's a 12-issue
it's
miniseries.
12 issue miniseries, yeah. But I mean, it's too bad because we want new IP, we do, and I'm going to give it a chance. But as far as Salvatore goes, I get what you're saying, but Salvatore also has written absolutely wonderful books, though, dude. Especially some of his first run with Dritz was really good, dude. You don't
The
agree?
the storytelling was good.
It
He's a
was.
good storyteller. He's a horrible writer. He's
Mhm.
still a bad writer. Like, he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand subtlety either. But at least he does it in a fan servicey kind of way,
He does, and
so that
he's not Terry
you
Pratchett. I get
feel,
it, but you know.
you feel like you are fulfilled. You know what I mean? Like, if you read something like, I don't know, like Chuck Winded,
Mhm.
not only are you going to be annoyed at every single sentence because the structure is composite crap,
Mhm.
but you're also going to be angry because the overall statement is, "Ha ha, you're a white guy. I hate you and you suck."
Well, that's another issue. I don't know. I don't get any feeling out of this. That's what's going to happen in here. But we'll see.
No, but I mean, I'm just saying that, like, I'm not saying that it's like everything is going to be political. I'm just saying that it's so bad that it doesn't say anything either. Like, I've read things that are, that I wouldn't agree with, that I'm
Mhm.
like, this is beautifully written though,
Yeah. Well,
and I'm down with that.
I get your point on Salvatore. You're not wrong. But do keep in mind though that although we have our issues with Didio because of his opinion on what a comic book should be, and he's trying to impose his will on us because what he thinks a comic book should be is not what most of us think a comic book should be. But do understand that Didio is not an SJW though. He's not.
No,
Uh,
what I think is the problem is they don't understand what really makes anything. So they just keep trying to replicate the best thing they've got. The best guy they got right now, Scott Snyder, right? What is Snyder known for? Look at what he does. He's kind of like a Remender. Remender and Snyder are very similar. They need a lot of prose, a lot of exposition to make their beautiful images that they do create work. Like, Remender writes, almost everything he's got. He's got a journal or a diary that accompanies it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and it
and
has to have that or it doesn't make sense. And I think that Scott Snyder is very similar. Like, I mean, just mountains of prose
mhm.
for Scott Snyder. And so that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to replicate these two guys, right? But not everybody's that kind of writer.
Yeah, no. Of course, that's true. I see Brian Hawkins is in here, and he says, "Aren't Lee and Didio co-publishers?" Well, dude, technically in name only, but do
Lee
understand that
doesn't ever say
Jimmy
anything.
has been put in the corner. Understand that. For obviously, did you see that absolute debacle of a live stream they did? They literally had Jim Lee in the corner, literally, with a bunch of these absolute tools who no one cared about, including the who is always eternally crying Kevin Smith. But yeah, no, Jim doesn't have authority over there. Rusty Deo says word salad. His first one was good, but after the sixth novel, it got a bit over the top. The whole Dritz internal conflict was beaten to undeath. I agree. I agree. I like the initial run. I actually enjoyed the Crystal Shard series that came out as well, but that wasn't Salvatore, I don't believe. But that was a good one too. But it is a fantasy writing, unfortunately. I think the only person who took an IP and of course it was her own IP, but I think it was her own IP. The only person who consistently wrote well the entire time upon a existing gaming type of IP is Margaret Weiss with the Dragonlance run. It's really good. If you haven't read it, you should. I know I of course love Terry Pratchett. I love Piers Anthony, but these are their
Mm.
own complete creations. They're completely theirs. So that's not really
I like
applicable,
Feast. Raymond Feast was one of my favorite authors
right?
because he's kind of like me. In prose, he's a little bit impatient, and so he doesn't spend too much time on any one thing, and it makes it kind of kinetic, and it sort of ties together really quick, and it kind of goes. Now, I mean, because of that, they're like some of it's a little, I would say, choppy.
Hmm.
Like you're like, what happened here? You know what I mean? And it's like you missed one sentence or something that where they're like, oh, we went here now, and so because like I said, it is an impatient style of writing, and it's not say like a George R. R. Martin where you take 3 days to talk about food,
Yeah,
2 days to talk about the door, and
the
5 more
texture
to
of a
talk about
glove, right?
what
Yeah,
your
yeah,
sister
true.
is thinking about your face because you woke up early.
Right. Yeah. Now, I don't know why I'm blanking on this, but the Pern series, that's not Weiss. She did Dragonlance. Who did the
No,
Pern?
And McCaffrey.
Anne
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey.
That's
There you
it.
go. Oh yeah, and we have no
Oh yeah.
respect for women. Although I just named off two legends of fantasy. Right. Yeah.
There was a
Uh,
woman. I mean, there was a lady that was in the whole TSR publications or SSI or like I don't know what it's called now. That did 2 characters I really liked. One was kind of a counterpart that was supposed to be. They told her make somebody that could eventually get with Drist, and she made a female dark elf that was really cool. She was actually a very interesting character.
I think
And then
I always thought that they should have went with a Silvery Moon princess for him, to be honest.
mhm,
But
there was that, and then there was a bard that was a vampire that I thought was like so cool. He was a sun elf
mm,
that had turned into a vampire, and he hated who he was, and he hated everything about himself, and he always kept trying to kill himself, and nobody would let him die.
mhm. Yeah, the Erica mentioned something about we still talking about the Jungle Book. It was Walking in King Louis was in the one we were talking the Disney Jungle Book. Yeah, but he does make a mention here something. I know we're past it, but we need to move on to the next story. But
Yeah.
I do
Sorry.
want to mention this real quick because he's absolutely right. The Rikki Tikki Tavi is the best story in the Jungle Book. I am absolutely agree with Eric on this. I love the Rikki Tikki Tavi story. And of course, the thing about Jungle Book, there's so many stories in there, right? Because this was basically that book was written by an Englishman living in India, and he was writing stories for his kid. And he was just kind of telling all the stories and legends and things he heard from the Indian people. That's where the Jungle Book comes from. Actually, it's a
Mhm.
collection of Indian stories from a Englishman's point of view. And I think it's a great book. And the problem is, most people we know don't read anything and don't bother to research nothing. Just like these damn article people. Because I mean, look, let me give you an example. Right, this article is from Graham McMillan. All right, Mr. McMillan, or I'm sorry, did I did I assume your gender? Anyway, but coming down here, he look what he says. He says a 12-issue series is described as appealing to fans of Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings. Now, we see these kind of statements all the time, but it's like, all right, we see Game of Thrones, we see D&D, we see Magic the Gathering, but does this writer actually know anything about those things?
No,
No, of course he doesn't, and none of them ever do. They'll make all kind of just ridiculous statements. Like, for instance, we're not talking about it today, but The Witcher set or released promo images are coming out. And to be fair, Henry Cavill as Geralt looks great. I think he looks fine. But they're showing some the fact that he only has one sword on his back, and that well, in the book, it's not really clear who Yennefer, what she looks like, which is nonsense because they're saying it's the book. It's the bit they're based on the book. It's not the game series. It's based on the book. Well, obviously, from reading your article, you've never read the book, unlike some of us. You also
they
didn't
describe
bother
her
to,
in detail all the time.
yeah. They do. And also you can go deeper than that, because if you were an actual journalist who's doing actual report, you could find out simply that the Witcher storyline has been going on over there in Slavic lands for a very long time. They have a long
Yeah,
running
and it was
TV
short stories
series.
at first.
Well, yeah, but they have a TV show that's been going on forever. They love that character. It's culturally important to them, right? And you're going
Yeah,
to come in here and bastardize it because it's time. Go to hell, right? And I saw those images, and the reason he was saying, well, in the book, it's not really like that. Bullshit. The Witchers carry two swords for a purpose. From the book, from the
yeah.
stories, as well in the video game. And the reason that he only had one sword on his
One is for
back.
monsters and one is for humans, basically.
That's right. And the reason why he had one sword on his back was very easy to see, because they didn't want the sword to get in the way of the hair, because they opposed him. They had opposed
Mhm.
perfectly, and they probably had two swords on his back in the beginning, and they were like, no, no, it's not shooting well. Take one of those swords off. I guarantee you that's what happened, because you could see it quite obviously. But these little things, these people, they make all these kind of comments, they reference stuff, but they don't know what they're talking about, and it's
Yeah.
ridiculous, dude. And
Yeah,
this
well,
is,
they only see what they want to see. Like they see politics, and that's it within Witcher. And I'm like, yeah, there's politics. There's a hell of a lot more than that.
oh yeah, well yeah. But anyway, we've spent way too much time on this. Let me move on. But I will read it. Let me
Yeah.
read it first, guys, and I'll let you know. Save your money. All right, Denali, please.
It's from Variety. Sandman, the TV series, is being set at Netflix from Neil Gaiman, Alan Heinberg, and David S. Goyer.
Oh my God, Booster, I'll let you take this, dude.
You had to bring in David S. Goyer, huh? The guy who actively hates superheroes.
Yep.
Freaking David S. The only thing I'm sure he's credited on that's worth a damn is The Dark Knight, and I'm pretty sure most of that work was Christopher Nolan. But he is the guy that ruined Man of Steel, who was writing a character that people know he doesn't like. For some damn reason, he got to write Batman vs Superman, and now
Yep.
he's writing Sandman, which do we? I don't know whether or not I like the idea of it being episodic, right? I think something like the Sandman probably would work better as something episodic, but they need a budget to pull something like this off, man. The effects
Mhm.
for Sandman himself, the effects for the worlds he's going to go to, such as Hell and a Dreamland and everything, right? You need a serious budget to pull this off because you have to craft entire worlds. But if you're just going to make Sandman walk around Earth and make this a budget Lucifer, then why make this show?
I guarantee you, what they're going to do with this is they're going to make it like that show Brimstone that came out. Now, the Brimstone show was fun in what it was, but that's what they're going to do. It's going to be like that. It's not going to be like the book at all. I'm telling you. It's going to be detective adventures with Sandman. I'm telling you, dude. And Netflix can spend money on, but they do have budgets sometimes. But now, this is the reason no one has done this so far is because it's difficult, right? Now, if HBO was announcing this, I would be like, well, let's see. But Netflix is so hit and miss, and much more missed recently. I don't know. Denali, what do you think, dude?
I'm not I'm checking out of that. And I just canceled my Netflix just recently, so I'm not really incentivized to renew anything just because
Yeah. Well, I would have canceled
there's
mine
nothing really
already
worth on.
too. No, there isn't. It's
Mhm.
becoming more and more woke every day that goes by. But my family watches a lot of the Japanese stuff, so I,
Mhm.
I I can't shut it down. But I've found very little to watch recently. Although I did watch that there is a German series on there called Dark, which is pretty interesting actually. I've been watching that. It's hard though. I have to really. It takes a long time to find something to watch unless I just want to watch some classic. But I don't know, George. What do you think about Netflix taking a shot at Sandman, the legendary series, and freaking David Goyer involved with it, dude?
Well, I read the entire series. I loved it as it was
Sure.
coming out. I shook Neil Gaiman's hand because I was one of many who was standing in line waiting for him to sign something, and I can't find that particular book. If my life would depend on it, all I can say is this: Sandman is a very cerebral uh, volume
It is.
of works.
It is.
So there's no way for this guy to screw it up, because you think about it. He screwed up action content and trying to make it cerebral. This is cerebral content. I think what is going to end up happening is he's just going to be trying to cut out as much as possible to fit a particular budget.
Yeah, it's possible. But I don't know. Well, I'm sure we're going to check it out at least. But these days, man, they just can't stop themselves, you know. But I do want to come over here to chat real quick. I want to try to keep up with what you guys are saying. Excuse me. Yeah, I was about to mention Weiss and Hickman. Rusty Dio says, yeah, well, they're really good writers. I enjoyed Crystal Shard as well. It was really good. Ricky Tikitavi was fantastic. Yes, it was. Hey, language. This isn't D&Q. Lol. Booster. RT Bear says next. Well, I'm sorry we took so long on that, sir. But happy to have you in here. Manny from Good Dog Press is in here. Hello, sir. I hope you're ready, Manny, because this week we're doing Skunk Girl on Drawn and Quartered Fan Edition, dude, and we're going to be looking forward to talking to you and seeing the absolutely killer stuff that is going to be drawn by our amazing artists on that show. RT Bear says the same old monkeys. Yeah.
And say happy birthday to Tags. I think her birthday is today as well.
Hi,
So.
happy birthday. Awesome.
Yeah.
Brian says, why does Goyer keep getting comic adapted gigs? I guess he's been typecast, unfortunately.
Yep.
Manny says, hello. Well, hello. How you doing? We have Turtle Rabbit Fox in here, and he says, so does this mean that DC has completely given up on their streaming service? You would think. Eric says, I saw another article where they are sinking a ton of money into Sandman. Yeah, no, I read that as well. My wee oil bird, I will be waiting for you at the party tonight. Sweet. I guess having a launch party. I thought you were coming out on the 4th. I didn't know you were coming out on the 1st, but cool. Good luck to you, dude. You know, I'm always with you in spirit, Manny. My schedule change means I can't do anything after my shows because I got to run out of the house and go do my job. But, you know, I got you, man. You're in my heart all the time, dude. We're gonna back you up as best as we can for Skunk Girl, dude. Absolutely. Rusty Deo says I want to cancel Netflix, but same reason. Daughter watches a Japanese anime. Yeah, there you go. I basically have 2 services. I got Prime and I have the Netflix for the same reason. My family uses it. I hardly ever touch it. Although I did watch the Tick series on Prime, and then they went and canceled it. So. Bastards. Anyway, Eric Hawkins says, but Neil Gaiman is involved with it too, so there is hope. That's true. He is involved with it, actually. Dr. Wright can say that himself. And Roger Heller says, stay blessed, everyone, and stay safe and have a fantastic week ahead. Well, thank you very much, Roger. He's always such a nice guy. But I'm going to move on to the next story here, but I think this is just one of those things we have to, we just got to keep an eye on. Next. Oh, my God.
From Bounty into Comic, there's the latest rumors. Ryan Gosling could be the next Lex Luthor in a solo film.
Why?
The worlds of DC. He's a good guy.
Well, now they love to make the villains a good guy these days, don't they? But this is a tough one for me, man, because Ryan Gosling is a solid actor. This dude has chops. I don't know I've seen him in anything I didn't like, dude. He's really good. And he's very much a method type of actor, meaning his characters are quite different. It's not like when you go watch Steven Seagal. Well, he's always Steven Seagal. I mean, many actors are like that. They're always what they are, and that's fine, right? But Ryan Gosling is an actual actor, like a Val Kilmer type, right? So I don't know, Dr. Wright. What do you think, dude?
No, I think he'll be great. Yeah.
Has Dr. Wright left us?
I think he's gone. He's too good
Oh,
for
sorry.
us now.
I was just saying that I think they're gonna do, like, you look at Joker, the Joker movie, and they've made him completely, I don't know, like a cucked out soy boy, and he's living with his mom and all this other kind of crap
right.
instead of having to be intimidating or anything. So then you've got this. Wasn't it Red Sun? Wasn't like Luthor was kind of a good guy in that, because like the whole idea was that Superman was brought up by Russians, and Luthor was like America's greatest hope against him. And so that was kind of interesting. And I like the idea that Luthor doesn't hate Superman. he hates that he makes it so easy that everybody doesn't advance the way they should. That humanity is stopping. They're
Yeah,
regressing because the heroes make it too easy, and that's his thing. I kind of like that. That's a cool concept.
sure.
But how do you make that a hero?
Well, is it going to be a hero though? Because the Lex Luthor character is basically the DC's Magneto. They're the same thing. Magneto
Yeah.
is, of course, supporting mutants is his main thing, and he truly wants to protect them. Lex Luthor wants to protect humanity from the alien, and he truly believes that, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to make that happen. So making him a compassionate villain is certainly doable. It's what he is. I think more of my question is not necessarily what they're going to do with it, because who knows these days what they're going to do with it. I'm asked. My question has more to do with what do you think about Ryan Gosling pulling off Lex Luthor?
Which
I
comes
think
with this kind of
I can
Kind of
see
character,
it.
an
young.
anti-villain.
I
I
mean,
mean,
I
he's kind of
can
young.
I
Like,
can see it.
I mean, he's got the drive. Like you see the movie Drive, like
Drive.
the anger that he had
Yeah,
in the scenes where he was like, turn your head, and then he, just beats the guy and bashes his head into the corner of the elevator.
That's
I'm
a
like,
great scene. He
cool.
caves that bloody guy's skull in.
And I
yeah,
mean, but he's got that, but the whole idea about that was that he was psychopathic. He had that break in reality, or
hmm
that break or conscious. He's like, I don't care if I kill somebody, it's okay. And that's
right.
the way Luther is. So he's got to
That's true.
have that. He's got to have that. Like, oh, I need to kill 100 million people to save a billion. Okay. I mean, he's was it Ozymandias, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And Ryan Gosling will bring a certain amount of physicality to the role. I mean, I do love the original Donner Superman. We watched it here on Bunny Vision movie night. And even though I love Gene Hackman, I didn't like what they did with that. I much more prefer the man who wants to be the perfect human. He keeps himself in perfect shape. He does everything he can to be the best he can be because he has a mission from God, if it were even, that he must accomplish. And having this kind of soft, it doesn't. I don't like it. I much prefer the strong, powerful Lex Luthor, and Ryan Gosling could pull that off. He's a little
I
dude though.
wanted Bryan Cranston as Lex Luthor.
Ooh, oh my God, dude.
That's like my dream Lex Luthor, but I don't think it's ever going to happen.
I think
Uh,
he. I don't know if he would do it because it's too like typecast, basically.
Yeah, maybe
well, typecasting happens for a reason. Sometimes you're just perfect for a role.
it does, right?
But
Yeah, but if he
whatever it is,
doesn't
that
want to
he
play that,
cannot be
because he
worse.
only wanted to play that because it was a great story and it was a deconstruction done right, you
hmm
know.
hmm
Whereas like this, I, it's an established character, and there's so many ways it can go horribly wrong.
Oh, they don't care if it's
It can't
established.
be
They could
worse.
care less about that, dude. They're constantly shifting it because they know better, right? Hollywood
Mm.
knows better than some silly little comic book writers. What do they know, right?
It
And that's how
cannot
they
be
look at
worse
things
than
too.
Jesse Eisenberg's Lenny Luthor.
Oh, Batman! Oh, Bruce Wayne meets Lex
You know,
Luthor. Oh, oh, that's
okay.
a strong grip you have. Oh,
After seeing the series that he was in recently, is it J.K. Simmons?
I'll get you next time, Superman. I'm sorry.
um,
Okay.
no, the current one was the Eisenberg kid.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like I think J.K. Simmons could do it. I think
J.K. Simmons could certainly
he's
pull
got
it off. Yeah,
he's got the acting chops and the physicality.
yeah. But obviously they're going with a younger Lex if they're going to go
Yeah.
to Ryan Gosling. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I like Ryan. I think he's good at what he does. I can't see it. But then again, when Robert Downey Jr. was announced to be Iron Man, I couldn't see that either. And damn, if he
Yeah,
wasn't the
because
perfect choice.
all you could see was like he was just a toked out druggie at the time. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
so
more than that, he's a ultra liberal. He's a singer and
he
dancer,
always
which
played like the super goofy guy. He was never. I mean, and he still kind of did, but there was still
mm,
some seriousness. There was gravitas that
mhm.
he brought when he had to. As that's really what it is. Tony's funny. Tony's got all this stuff, but when he gets down, he's down.
Yeah, and he did a wonderful
And you're like,
job. Robert Downey's awesome.
yeah,
I'm very happy. But there is an interesting thing about Robert Downey Jr. I think a lot of people don't know. He is a legitimate singer. I don't mean there's a lot
Yeah,
of these like Hugh Jackman, for instance. He can sing Broadway. He can do that. A lot of them can. Singing,
he
dancing,
did like
acting, the triple threat,
blues
right?
or something, like
Uh,
blues and jazz. Or something.
well, he's a mimicker. He does mimic, but meaning copy people's voice. But Robert Downey can sing really well. He's an
Mhm.
actual real singer, right? Which most people have no clue, I think. But anyway, over here in the chat, let me see. Google Manny says, "I will send you a link anyway." Well, thank you very much, sir. I will. I know I won't be able to come, but thank you anyway. Love you, dude. Eric says, and how does Booster feel about Gosling? Does he tingle your nether regions like Ezra? Oh my God.
Hmm.
Keep
Hmm.
your
Hmm.
keep your those conversations to yourself. Thank you very much. Rusty
After
Dale says,
Drive, absolutely. I like to listen to that song that's like "Real Human Being" and imagine that Ryan Gosling's just staring at me longingly.
"Oh my God, you and your hetero-ness." Rusty Dale says, solid actor, but I agree, it's not a role for him. Yeah, it's hard to envision it. Drive was good, but Luther is more of a Super Juniors kind of psycho. It's true. It is. But we'll have to see. I just can't see it yet. Turtle Rabbit says Joker, the new Batman, and now Lex. Maybe a new Superman next. Damn you for saying that, Turtle Rabbit. This could be the beginning of a new DC movie universe. I liked Lex in Smallville the best. No one's going to beat that. That's a fair point, dude. The Lex Luthor in Smallville. Not only did we see a character progression and growth, we saw a really good performance by the actor. I don't know his name, but the guy who did it. We actually saw Lex Luthor become Lex Luthor in Smallville. It was a really good performance, actually. Did you guys watch that?
Yeah, I remember seeing that. It was kind of Michael Rosenbaum. It was kind of interesting to see the whole thing. Like you said, the evolution of the character, because he was
Yeah.
like friends at first,
Yeah.
and then he moved from friends to sort of like a frenemy, and then to flat out enemy to I want you fucking dead. Oh, pardon me. Sorry.
No. Ding ding. You're gonna have to pay him later. But yeah, no, I thought they did a good job with that. And let me catch this last one here. Eric says, Chester, what is your favorite Gosling movie? Please say the one I want you to. The Notebook, please. No, actually, Nightcrawler. Actually, I think Nightcrawler was an amazing job.
Wasn't
And
that Jake
Wasn't that Jake
Gyllenhaal?
Gyllenhaal?
is it
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal? I do
Oh
apologize.
my
Yeah,
Have
that's
you
Joe.
seen a Ryan Gosling movie, Chester?
Yeah, I guess I would have to choose Drive off the top of my head then.
Donnie Darko,
Okay.
right? That's your next one.
What? What? No
You
love
got
for Blade
Drive,
Runner.
Place
No.
Beyond the Pines, The Nice Guys. You have that the Real
Nice
Doll
Guys.
one. That is hilarious.
Nice Guys. I like that movie. That was a good one.
What? No love for Blade Runner.
The Blade Runner, I thought he was okay in that. With him playing with Russell Crowe in The Nice Guys, that was a fun, solid movie. I loved the new Blade Runner. I did, and I thought he did a passable job. I'm not angry with him, but it just doesn't
Is
stand
that the
out for
one
me.
where he gets his butt kicked the entire movie, and then all of a sudden he just chokes the girl out at the end and then dies?
Spoilers.
Spoilers, right? Yeah. Young Hercules. Oh my God. All right, let's move on here. We're definitely sticking to now. I'm not going to do that one. That's too long. Um, uh, well, no, let's not do this one. We don't have time. Let me see here. Okay. Let's cover this one real quick. Go ahead, Dinale.
All right. From Variety, Disney puts a break on Fox Alien Nation remake. I didn't even know there was an Alien Nation being redone.
No,
but
we talked about it a few months ago. I remember.
did we? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. It was in
So-
like a news dump we covered. But I think the only question I have for the panel and for the chat with this is, who wants an Alien Nation remake?
I'm afraid of it.
I think they're trying to remake this because of all this immigration and
Of course. They're
Of course.
using it as a message. Look, here's a message. You conservatives, you don't get it. We don't tell you enough. Let us put it on a sign, post it to your forehead, and shove it down your throat again.
RT Bear says he was great in Blade Runner. I'm up in the air. I certainly didn't hate his acting in Blade Runner art, but and I love the new Blade Runner. I thought it was great. It's a perfect juxtaposition to the original. I love that movie. So I obviously liked his performance. I don't know. It just it's not my favorite. Is all I'm saying. I didn't hate it at all because I love that movie. But anyway, I just wanted to respond to that. But yeah, no, it's kind of for me. It's the same thing as with the Captain Marvel movie. Now the Skrulls all of a sudden are good guys because they're refugees. What? Have you ever read a comic book? Ever? The Skrulls are absolute nightmare, right? Why do you think that the
We
Kree?
have to. We've got to get across our agenda, okay?
Yeah, it's
I
so
mean,
ridiculous.
it's got to
But
be there in like every movie.
but it's
Every
Not an
movie.
invasion. They're just refugees.
well, see,
Don't you get it?
it's one of the few things that the Kree and the Shi'ar can agree upon is wipe out the Skrull, right? This is one of the few things they can agree upon, right? And I'm actually curious with Art in here. He's inked or drawn every damn pretty much every damn character in the comic book world. Have you ever done Skrulls? I'm sure you have. Build the wall, he says. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's an immigration point, George. You're absolutely right. I liked it
Dude,
though. I liked the
are
original Alien
you so
Nation.
much
Did
like
I'm
want
sorry,
to love on art that you're coughing it up? I mean, what's going on?
me? Oh no, I just
Yeah.
I took a drink a while back and it went down the wrong
Chester
lung.
got AIDS. Please pray
He
for him.
lost his
I got the
guts, and
water
that could be
AIDS,
killing that. But
but
no
I'll be all
water
right.
is talking on comic news today. That's got him.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
But I did enjoy the original Alien Nation. Did you guys like that? The original show?
The original Alienation was cool because I mean it was an interesting premise. It was I mean there was obviously like a bit of a vehicle for politics there, but it was okay. But it wasn't like ham fisted, and it wasn't so bad that
No.
it forced its way into everything. Was it there? Yeah. Could you think of it? Yeah. But it was all right. And then they had like the super detergent. It made them all super strong. I think right, wasn't it? Like they had like detergent. It looked like Dawn.
Well, I
I
know that
prefer
they.
District 9.
Huh?
Yeah. District 9. I do know that salt water was deadly to them. And I'm kind of
Yeah.
wondering if the writer of Signs, that Mel Gibson movie, the M. Night Shyamalan stuff, I wonder if he basically stole that from Alien Nation. Probably.
M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong.
Yeah, that guy. But
Why
yeah,
would
no.
you steal the stupidest part of a movie?
Wow. Art said, yep. Fantastic Four with Art Adams. Awesome.
Spin away. Spin away. I can't really get
All
that.
right.
Spin
Okay.
away.
Let's take a half a second here and be serious. Um, we know that Anna from who's the last Star, I mean that Star Wars girl, who's on YouTube. We haven't had her on our channel, but she's been on a bunch of the channels around our community. She's a fun girl that does fun Star Wars videos, and we all know that her sister went missing. And then we found out she passed away. We don't know why, but I guess we don't really need to know why, to be honest. But this page is simply trying to help the family out a little bit for the funeral stuff. We had a moment of silence the other day. It's really sad. Um,
Yeah.
Sad news. But if you feel inclined that you want to donate and help them out to help with
Can
their
I say
funeral stuff,
something really quick? Just really quick.
yeah,
I like Anna. I like everything that's going on here. This is cool. There were a lot of people that suffered last week. There were a lot of deaths in the family.
we're there. Well, give us some
Yeah,
more,
like
because I
Nick
don't
from
know
War
about them.
Campaign, he had a death in the family. He didn't
Who
say
did?
anything. He just sort of disappeared. Nick from War Campaign. That's all he's always listed as Nick from War Campaign.
Right.
He promotes everybody
Mhm.
all the time. And he had a death in the family. He had to disappear for a few days. He didn't say anything about it. He just said, "Look, guys, I got a death in the family. I got to go take care of this. I'm gone."
Right.
There was John Malin had his nephew passed away, and that was happening. I understand that I mean Anna's great. She's important. Is wonderful. She's not the only person out there that suffered last week, and I'm not saying that to like pull attention away from her or because I'm upset or anything. I just want everybody that is within the family to get the love they deserve. If we're going to
Sure.
say, hey, we're a family, let's love the family.
Well, I think
That
we just
hurts.
don't.
You know
We're
what I mean?
unaware. We're unaware. Uh,
Yeah.
this became an
And
issue. It's also because it's a young woman who had disappeared on her like what 18th, 19th
well,
birthday.
I talked like the best friend and the girl ex girlfriend of Ellen came out and talked to me because I had a bunch of good ideas to find her.
Hmm.
They actually reached out and found me both on Facebook and DM, and I talked to both of them. And this was a really weird situation, a very very weird situation. Like it was for the family, for her, for everything. It was just kind of a. I mean, this was a funky thing.
Yeah,
Um, and I don't. I'm not going to pretend that I know exactly what happened, but this was a hard situation for all family involved,
sure.
is what I'm thinking. And her friend was the last person to hear from her. So if you're on Facebook and you can find Selena Feliciano, tell her that it's not her fault. Tell her that, like, look, we know you were the last person to hear from her, but it's okay. We can't save everybody. Whatever happened to her is not your fault, because a lot of people have, they carry that kind of guilt. You know what I'm saying? They carry
Sure.
that survivor's guilt because they were that last person. They're like, if I'd have just talked to them, if I'd have done this, if I'd have done that. And we need to tell that person, like, look, it wasn't your fault. It's okay.
Well, there you go, guys. And I didn't know about the other people in the community having losses. Of course, our sympathies and our thoughts go out to them as well. Of course, we just weren't made aware of it. This really was pushed by many people in the community, including Jeremy over at the Quartering. And it was basically, hey, let's try to find her. Where it wasn't that, hey, this person in my family's passed away or what have you. It was like, she's missing. Let's see if we can help find her. And a lot of people came together to help, and not just simply giving their condolences or well wishes, actually
No.
helped. Right, and I
Yeah.
think that's why it became a thing. But I am happy though, because this money is sitting up here. This $27,000 is about what you need for a funeral, actually. So it's kind of nice that their funeral has been paid for, because funerals can be quite expensive. So that's about what you need, actually, around 20 grand, and we'll get you a funeral, right? So I think that's a really nice thing. As far as those other guys that have had losses, my thoughts go out with them, of course. Uh, yeah, it is what it is. It was a bad week, though. I didn't know that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
Absolutely.
like John Malin had this. I mean, he just said it like, he's not like overtly emotional. You know what I mean? But
No,
you could
he's
tell he was
male.
hurt because of the shortness of his words. Like he heard about her dying, and it was right after his nephew died, and all he said was "sad week."
Yeah, yeah.
You
No,
know,
he's just male. It's pretty typical for us to do like that. But like I said, well wishes to everybody. Of course, it's never happy to have family losses, particularly in these kind of suspicious and tragic ones. But anyway, we just wanted to mention it. If you guys want to go and support them on the GoFundMe, please do. Just a continuation of it. But we are a little bit over time, but that's all right. Let's just go ahead and say I don't want to cover. That's going to take a while. Let's look at this one real. That
Sure.
already covered that. Let me just cover this real quick. Just
Hmm.
super quick. Toy Story 4 is racist for not having black leads. They're toys, you dumb idiots. And I'm sure amongst the voice acting, I'm sure there's a person of non-white gender in there, and I said that intentionally. That was not a mistake. I'm sure. But why would they all of a sudden introduce a brand new lead character when this is number four? Four. See, Toy Story 4. What do we got to do? We got to throw in Mrs. Jones in here next to Buzz Lightyear. Is that what you want? That's a good song, by the way. Anybody have any other comment on this absolute stupidity that's going on with this?
I think Toy Story 4 is the most diverse movie ever. I mean, you have cars, planes, you have
Hmm.
snakes, dinosaurs.
Hmm. Hmm.
A
I
potato
mean,
head.
That's right.
there's so many genders in this movie. It's ridiculous.
They have a
I think there's more than 100 genders in this movie.
they have a spork.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's right, and that is like a transgender, isn't it? I mean, it's not a spoon, it's not a fork.
Oh my God, this story is so stupid. I'm moving away from it. But damn it, you
It's not even
idiots!
worth the time.
No, it's so stupid, dude. It's a friggin'
Look at the
cartoon, man.
pretty waterfall. It's cascading, and
Hmm.
it's rainbow effect. Yeah.
Now, this article here we'll end the day on this one. This page is not displaying very well. I wonder who put. Oh, it's CBS.
It's
You
CBS. Would you
bastards.
look at that?
Of course, CBS webpage sucks. Look at this. Look at this page. Look at it.
Oh, this is just shit.
CBS. But we don't need the page. We already know the story because it's been making the rounds. But Dinale.
Well, from comicbooks.com, they had an interview with the currently retired George Perez and his disillusionment and problems with the corporate comics. Basically, he was talking about his experience writing for New 52 Superman for the first couple early issues, which kind of ties it back right to the beginning. And he said it was driven by committee. They told me to change a whole lot of things, and by the end of it, I didn't care about the character. I didn't care no more.
Yeah. So basically, they made George Perez not care anymore, which is sad because, I mean, how old is he? He's like 105 now,
Hey, you know what? That's better than Tom King. He just made everybody else not care anymore.
right? Right. But this story has been covered by everybody. We're certainly behind behind it on this particular story. But yeah, no, it's a sad thing. Does anybody have any comments they'd like to make on the George Perez story? George?
Yeah, I have one comment. It's a very special set of skills to make George Perez not care about a comic book character as iconic as Superman. I applaud the system and the people who are behind it. Clearly, they are very efficient destructors of everything that is good.
Obviously. Yeah. And it's really sad too because we see George Perez. I've seen many images of him on the circuit. He's always smiling. He's always a happy guy. He's always happy to do a signature, shake a hand, take a photo. Even our brother here, Manny from Good Dog Press, he's got a couple of pictures with George Perez he shared. And we all love George. He's great at what he does, but he's also just a nice guy. So them, damn it, them.
So what I'm hearing is we need to send Dan Didio on a free, all expenses paid vacation to Portland when everybody blankets his Twitter and other testimony that he is a extreme right winger.
Perez is not a right winger. He's a lefty, dude.
No, I said Didio. I don't care if he is or not. We just tell them he is, and then send him to Portland.
Oh, I see. Boy, freaking Portland. But Portland is absolutely.
Hold on a sec. That's just hypothetically speaking. It's not a call to action.
Yes, yeah. Please don't do that.
No, don't do that. Of course.
Yeah.
But I don't care what their political leaning are. To be fair, there is a good comment in here from Eric about George because when we talk about comic books, we don't really bring up politics, right? Because we're talking about comic books, right? But to be fair, Perez was one of the pros who said he would not go to a con in any state that voted for Trump. And that's an odd statement to me. I don't know if it's true. It might be. But it's an odd statement to me because if you go and look at the voting, every state had lots of people who voted for Trump. Every state, actually. Now, he took the electoral colleges enough to win the presidency, but if you go look at the voting map, most districts in America voted for Trump. The reason why it was even close and the reason why Hillary had a higher vote count was simply because of the big cities, particularly New York and California and the cities
The
in them.
liberal, yeah, they're like
Yeah.
17 times the population in other areas.
Yeah, but I mean, I can demonstrate that, actually. Let me do so. All right.
I just want to say Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is
Uh-huh.
from one of those districts in New York, and that should just annul all of them.
No, don't do that. Okay. Here we go. There you go. Let's look at that one. Blow it up. This is what the map. Oh, that was not good at all. Stop that. Do better. Better. There we go. All right. This is what the map looked like, right? So if you're telling me that you're not going to go to a state that didn't vote for Trump, well, then leave the country. because every state had a majority of people who voted for Trump as far as districts go. Look at this map. I mean, look at the absolute ridiculous state of affairs that are going on in America right now. Look at that, right? This tells you exactly what the problem is because most of the people living in the states voted for Trump. And so, or at least supported the idea of a more conservative thinking, a more conservative government, right? Now, I'm not saying extreme conservatism. I'm just talking about the middle, right? But I mean,
Mm.
this map screams at you about a lot of things, right? And these bastards, and I don't ding ding all you want, but these bastards are right now trying to kill the electoral college, and I don't think they'll be successful, but they've tried many times in the past anyway. But that cannot happen. This map right here tells you exactly why. So if the Mr. Perez or anybody else did say something like that, it's a foolish statement. But then again, lefties makes foolish statements all the time. Well, I mean, proof in the pudding, right? Anyway, we way over time, but that's all
Yeah.
right. We had fun. Look at the blue area south of Lake Michigan. Lol, dang Chicago. Yeah, right. But any place you have an economy that is suffering, that has a lot of crime, has a lot of homeless issues, or whatever other kind of problems that are going on, those people are constantly have their hands out and are begging for stuff. And anybody who's begging for something with a handout, expecting everyone else to take care of their problems, as well as everybody else being the source of their problems, of course they're going to be liberal because they want free stuff. Right. And that's what it comes right down to. And of course, the best thing that could happen to them would actually be forced to get off their butts and do it themselves, because that would make them have a better life and be better people. Because that's what it really comes down to. And this is why it's not the first time we've tried this, but this is why we have the Democrats so crazily behind the idea of free open borders, because they want all those poor people from the South to come up in, because they're all going to have their hands out because they
Yeah,
have
they're easy to
nothing.
manipulate. The incentive to get them to vote, their way is very easy. It's like, oh, we're going to give you money. Oh, okay, we'll vote your way.
Well, I mean,
You know.
and it makes sense. I'm not even blaming them. I'm just because they have absolutely nothing. They're desperate. I get it. I get it. But this is why what's going on. This is, I mean, and I'm not going to get deeper into it, Eric. Don't worry about it. But it's just the silly, silly things to say, the silly, silly things people do. Uh, but we'll see how it goes. Because with what they're doing, they're basically assuring another 4 years of Trump. And I wonder what kind of insanity. Now, if he gets reelected, what kind of insanity you think's going to fall on the country, dude? I mean, it's bad now. I don't know, dude.
What is it called? What do you call that thing? That military martial law. Martial law will kick in. They will reset the system, and a lot of people are going to go to jail. That's the Constitution and the Bill of Rights going into actual exercise into effect.
Right. And here's another little side. I don't want to get into a political conversation. Too late, I guess. But Brian says, yeah, look at how red Illinois was, but Chicago overpowers the rest of the state. And this is a fair point because people who live in cities, so many of their rights, particularly in a lot of American cities, so many of their rights have been taken away from them, and they are pressed upon by the city with all the high taxes, high costs. I mean, parking can be 10 times what it costs, right? For instance, here in my area. I can park up in the city near me for like a buck an hour, right? Something like that. But you go into Tokyo, it costs you $30 an hour to just park your car, right? And of course, all the big cities are like that. And there's so many of these things that make it impossible to live in those cities, and they make them so expensive that by its very nature, it makes the population needy. It puts them in a situation where they're desperate. Whereas in the countryside, people living a more reasonable life. Uh, so the city itself produces this kind of people, this kind of situation. And then, of course, all the political screaming is coming out of the people who have plenty of money, that have the free time on their hands to do something. There are many things in English that we classify as either idiom or proverb. right? And an idiom is just an expression. It doesn't have necessarily have any truth to it. But a proverb is a truth. It's a human truth. That's why we call them proverbs. And the idle hands is the devil's playground is a full-on proverb, baby. Anyway, not to get poetic on you, but let me stop talking about politics because I won't shut up. So, anybody have anything they want to say before we get out of here? Let's start with George.
Jedi, Last Jedi, last Star Wars movie. It sucks.
Okay, George. Thank you, Dr. Wright.
I'm crazy, and apparently I signed up for another book, so I have 2 books coming out in the next 3 months.
Sweet.
One with Jason Johnson, and another with a gentleman named Jose Sanchez. I am creating Sins of the Fae, which is based on a novel series that I created, and then I am creating an IP that I was working on with a couple of the people. They fell away, and so I'm going to usher it forward. You may remember it, The Sway.
Oh, hey, yeah, I do remember that.
Oh, yes.
Awesome. And thank you for correcting me, Eric. Everyone enjoys correcting me. Why does everyone enjoy correcting me for all the time? Have I ever made a statement that I am in any way close to perfect? But you guys do enjoy correcting me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Dinale, closing statement.
Um,
Oh no,
join
not.
my
Well,
news.
I'm sorry, not Dinale. Booster.
Okay.
Booster. My closing statement is that Dinale should have a closing statement.
Oh, that yeah, that's what he's usually last. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. We're definitely gonna appreciate all you guys coming in here and sticking with
And
us
sub
like you
to
do.
Booster.
It's sub to Booster and get no
Follow him
content,
on
get
Twitter at Booster
nothing for it.
Kiwi.
Yes. Now, do keep in mind that tomorrow we have the continuation of the Vampire the Masquerade RPG that we're running. We're having a lot of fun with that. Hope you guys are coming joining us, and we have a lot of other things coming up this week, which I will let Dinale do in his closing statements. Go ahead, dude.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for this extended version of Comics News Today. We had a lot of fun, a lot of interesting news today. Join us tomorrow for Bugbear's Basement, where we continue with Gehenna Rising. We'll see if we will survive whatever Chester's going to be throwing at us. I suspect that either if we survive, it'll probably be getting harder the next time. And then we have Drawn and Quarter on Wednesday, the Pro Edition. John Diller is our champion. We'll cheer him on, make him feel embarrassed or whatever you guys do. And then Thursday we have Drawn Core Fan Edition, which will be the 4th of July. Hooray! And Manny's The Unbreathable Skunk Girl will be the theme for that one. So it'll be awesome.
I'm hoping for Star Spangled Bikinis. That's what I'm hoping for. I have my fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
America.
Yes.
America.
So light up those fireworks. It's going to be pretty awesome as well. Join my newsletter, dinalescomic@gmail.com, to get in connected with any future updates on the Immortal Mass. Is freaking awesome. I'm excited. These promos piece, I'm biting my lips to show it to you guys, but until it's ready, I can't do that.
Always such a tease.
But remember, your reality is shaped by your perception, so always make it a good one.
Ooh,
namaste.
That was kind of namaste-ish. And I just showed our link at the very last minute, so you guys can come in there and steal it if you'd like. But and get and have all those people come in and put their horrible porn on like they did to poor Edwin. I also heard Antonio Bryce got caught by that too.
I don't screen share my porn.
sad.
I'm a gentleman. I just have it on the other screen.
Are you? Oh, there you go. All right, guys. Anyway, later. Thank you.
Aloha.